music time.
Yeah,
you have to hit play.
Not gonna miss.
There it is. There it is. The director with a success story.
There is the music. Oh, and it's down and up and down and up.
Even when he gets it right, he gets it wrong.
Hey, listen, it is perfect. And this time, you are watching the Sports Porch Black and Gold. That's where my camera is right there. You're watching us live all over the world. You are watching us live right now on Facebook, on Instagram. We are back on YouTube, on X. The Fantasy Alpha crowd is in the house. Thanks for being here,
up,
Fantasy Alpha.
Alpha.
Absolutely. We love it. And if you love the Black and Gold, you will watch this show because we are going to talk about a lot of different things as I adjust my camera here a little bit. Steve always messes me up. And as you can see, you can call into the show at any time, 412-805-7236. Call in the show and talk to us. We do drop the Sports Porch Black and Gold podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. So
there's an open line.
We got a lot to talk about tonight, guys. So we're going to talk Penguins, the playoff push.
Yes.
We're going to talk the Buccos. Are they real yet?
Yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit about the Steelers and draft picks.
Yeah.
Then we have the Trader Joe's product of the week.
Yeah.
Then we also have what we're watching.
Yes.
Yes. So you guys are going to want to stick around for this entire show. Ooh. And we are commercial free. We are commercial free.
What about the Eclipse?
And who cares? Well, if you guys want to talk about the Eclipse,
I mean, we should start with the Eclipse.
Let's get it out of the way.
National phenomena.
We are also streaming live on Radio PGH. I'm dropping that.
We'll be dead
stream in the comments right now. Yeah. Kyle is already in the house. The Porch, Viva Las Vegas, baby. Him and my wife are going to Vegas next week.
Nice.
So no eclipse for Kyle. No eclipse for Kyle.
All I got to say is, way to go, Moon.
Is the moon trending now? Is the moon trending?
Moon got it done today, guys.
I didn't watch the eclipse. I actually
nobody did because you couldn't really see it in Pittsburgh.
Well, this was my day off. Mm-hmm. So my weekends are Sundays and Mondays. So I did a little work in the morning online, and then I've been watching the movie. This is not what we're watching, but I watched the movie Napoleon.
I heard it's very good.
Nah.
You're all over Napoleon.
Nah.
No, you weren't into it.
It's really
no dragons.
Well, no, it's
not enough sex.
No. It's really hard to get into Napoleon with an American accent. It's very hard to get into.
You're one of those.
Yeah. It needed to be in French. You like to read subtitles.
No. All credit to Joaquin Phoenix. Great actor. Love the guy.
Napoleon was excellent.
I mean, I don't know.
See, Kyle
I don't know.
Kyle liked it.
Now you're going to have to go toe to toe with
DG
Kyle.
Is in the house. What's up, DG? Thanks for being here.
What's up, DG?
I keep looking at the wrong place. And listen, if you're watching us on Pittsburgh Beautiful on Instagram, I want to thank you for being here. I just want you to know that if you comment, I have to look at another screen for that. So we'll try to get you into the show. But please drop your comment. Amy May says, I saw a lot of it, meaning Napoleon. It was almost, meaning.
No, she's talking about the Eclipse.
The Eclipse is almost clear from the blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's just start right away here with our first segment here, which is Hockey Jesus. Hockey Jesus. And actually, what I wanted to say is, ladies and gentlemen,
finally get the pole position.
What I should say is, ladies and gentlemen, Derek Shelton has joined us on the porch. Because if he put the hat on,
does look like him,
put the hat on. Just put it on.
I will not put the hat on.
Come on.
I refuse to put the hat on. Although you're right, with the hat.
He looks just like Derek Shelton with the hat on. Just like him. Just like him.
I'm a doppelganger.
Yes, but this, my friend sitting right across from me, this is Hockey Jesus. And Hockey Jesus preaches on the podcast after every single Penguins game.
Preach.
So if you cannot be more faithful than Hockey Jesus, but you can have faith that the Pens are going to make the playoffs this year.
Yes,
and it looks like as of right now, they're making a playoff push because they're in a spot.
They are still making the push.
They're a point out of a spot, Chris.
They are.
Whatever.
They are.
I thought they were in a spot yesterday.
Yesterday,
right?
but not today.
Okay.
They were in a spot yesterday, and then Buffalo couldn't beat Detroit, and the Sens did actually beat the Capitals.
So is the Penguins playoff push right now legit?
It is. Jesus. Yeah. I mean, anytime you score, you got an 8-game, scoring a point streak. It's absolutely legit, and it only becomes legit when everybody else around you, like the Flyers, lose 7 in a row, and the Capitals around you lose 6 in a row.
Yep.
That's absolutely what needed to happen. That's what I said. When I decided to wear the beard, I figured there's no way the Pens can win all their games, and at least 2 or 3 other teams can lose all their games. But that's exactly what happened.
It is. And being truthful, I don't think you even believe this remotely possible.
No, because it's never been done before this late in the season.
Right.
Like when you wait until the last 15 games to say, hey, we can play hockey, and you're that far behind, it's just improbable. The math doesn't, it still works, which is why I refrained from shaving, because I went from they're out of the playoffs to, well, they're out of the playoffs, but they're still in it mathematically, to until they're mathematically eliminated, I will keep the beard, which is why I have this monstrosity on my face.
And DG says they seem to be playing with purpose so far tonight.
Yeah, they have. From what I've seen tonight, they came out and they basically held Toronto to 2 shots. They still only have 2 shots in the first period. But the problem is they've already had 2 power plays. They're 0 for 2 on the power play. Doesn't look like it's costing them a lot of momentum because they still have 8 shots. But that's as long as they can get out of the period 0-0. If Toronto somehow manages to get a fluky goal or anything along that line, that's going to be a problem for the Penguins, because when you have 2 power plays and you can't score and the other team scores on like a fluke goal or a really nice shot and they're winning 1-0 at the end of the first period, problem. That's definitely would be a problem. But here's the thing: like the Penguins could still lose tonight and still be in this thing. They have to win they play Detroit on the 11th. They play the Islanders at the end of the year. Those are must-win games. And then in between those 2 games, they play Boston and Nashville, both at home. Usually the last home game is something, the fans are up for. When I saw the Penguins were still in this, I went on the Pens website and I saw there were some tickets available for Detroit, so I grabbed them, and I'll be at the Thursday game. Just because that's playoff hockey. Whether it's not really playoff hockey, but it'll be definitely a playoff atmosphere, because Detroit play the Capitals tomorrow night. There's a lot of scoreboard watching that has to be done. And actually, what really made this happen was on Friday night, Buffalo beat the Flyers, Carolina beat the Capitals, and the Rangers beat Detroit. That's what really helped when the Penguins beat Tampa Bay. That's what put them into that position. And that's what needs to happen. You don't need 3 teams to win like that anymore, but you need like 2 teams to win like that when they're playing against the other team. And when Detroit plays against the Capitals, you're going to get one. And like I was telling the guys before the show, hopefully it's not a 3-point game where that loser point comes into play. Then somebody gets 1 point, the other team gets 2 points. So they're gaining both teams, even though one team will absolutely lose.
Right.
So, yeah, it's legit. Look, Gino is mostly the reason this is working.
He's the reason for the season.
It is, because the Penguins are a 3-center system, and Lars Eller's been pretty good all year. But that second line with Gino on it has just been horrible, terrible, awful.
Yeah, I've talked about this earlier in the year. I felt like Gino was, done.
He found the fountain of youth,
but
and
now
he found
he's
it
playing
through his parents. Presumably.
Really?
Right.
What did they do?
They came to visit him, and since they visit him, they haven't lost.
And they're crying in the stands.
They're crying in the stands
because they love their son.
So this is actually a point worth talking about. I actually think there might be something bigger going on. The fact that they're in town. I
mean, you think they're leaving Russia? Because they're crazy people and they're bombing Ukraine?
No, I don't. I don't think Russians ever leave Russia voluntarily.
But they're all here.
Yeah.
No, they all go back.
Okay.
This is what you call this is what you call an unnecessary tangent on a sports show. Anyway.
No, well,
so you think something bigger is going on?
I just think like maybe they're here because maybe he's thinking about retiring. Maybe he mentioned that to them, and they're just getting emotional because they
think this is it.
Score. For the last time and being in a playoff run and all that stuff. I would be very surprised, but it is weird to see parents of a 30-year-old crying in the stands. Like, I get it, first game, 18-year-old or 22-year-old coming up, and your parents are emotional about it. But this late in his career, I don't know. It seems suspicious.
Although maybe it's because they're listening to their son be talked about like he's done. He's stick a fork in him, and here he comes up with like 2 big goals in that game.
Yeah, and they're just happy that he's finally getting it back.
Right. Yeah.
That's possible. I mean, that's absolutely possible. But really crying, it seems a little extreme. I mean, I guess maybe I'm just not a good parent. I wouldn't cry. I would be like, it's about time you scored. You're making $6.5 million. Get out there and score. That's what they're paying you for.
Right.
Well, I got accused of being a bad parent on our earlier show by Schwaber. So,
well,
then you would know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Am I being a bad parent?
No.
Truth hurts.
No, you're probably the best parent I've ever known, Steve. So, I'm not trying to get
or maybe got really lucky with great kids.
Or maybe I'm just good at hiding secrets.
Who knows? Okay,
I'm sure my kids can vouch for me at least.
So they have 5 games left, including the game tonight. What's the most important thing other than winning all 5 of these games?
Wait, I just have to share. Can we go on one small tangent?
Sure. Why not?
So my wife just texted me, "Where are the chocolate eggs?"
Uh-oh.
And I just ate them all. So what? How do I reply to that?
I don't know. That's what you say. You say, I don't know.
They're gone.
I think they got all gobbled up during Easter.
Yeah.
The Easter bunny, they got eaten up by the Eclipse.
When you say that, I think the real question here,
Easter bunny got him.
I think that the real question here is when you say, I just finished all of them, did you just finish all of them? Like there was one more left?
It was my entertainment during the Eclipse.
Okay. And how many of said eggs did you finish?
Well, it's one of those Cadbury mini eggs bags.
Okay.
It's a small bag.
Yeah. But how many were left in the bag?
Probably about a quarter of the bag.
Okay. So
you finished off a quarter of the bag.
Can you assign a number to this though? Let's just assign a number.
15.
Oh, that's a problem.
You're screwed. You're screwed because you're telling me
time out.
You couldn't leave your wife one egg. That's how she's going to think about it.
Here's why I ate them all. One, I like to finish the bag because I don't like to think there are more left. 2, there's a whole other bag upstairs of hers she could just open.
Well, then that's what you tell her.
Then why is she not? Why is she asking?
That's the answer. That's the answer. The answer is
I ate my bag
on your dresser.
Yes. I ate my bag. You ate yours.
All right. I'll text her after I answer this question.
Okay.
And I forgot what the question.
What is the question?
I don't even remember now.
Well, I actually have a question.
I'm wondering how you ate 15 Cadbury eggs.
Being you are the hockey Jesus.
No, they're the small ones, not the big ones.
All right, I get it.
Being you are the hockey Jesus.
Yes, right.
What do you think this improbable run by the Pens? How much is divine intervention?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Well, I do believe that the NHL likes to have certain setups in the playoffs. And if the Penguins continue to win, it is highly probable they could get the 3rd spot because they'll probably have to beat the Islanders and they'll leapfrog over the Islanders into the 3rd spot if they win. That would mean they play against Carolina. And who doesn't in the NHL want to see Sid play against his former protege, Jake, in the playoffs? So I think
almost getting into conspiracy theory here.
By divine intervention, you mean the NHL saying it's time for you to play well.
No, I was thinking about the big man upstairs.
Oh, well.
Yeah, what does the big man say?
The big man absolutely had some divine intervention.
Yes.
And it was with Sully. And he also probably did some injury to Graves' upper body injury. So I think the big man, is taking it easy on the healing process of Nolan Chari and those guys, so that the other guys can play still.
There you go.
So I do believe there is definitely some divine intervention going on.
So
now, Amy does have a very good point.
I have to get this in here because I love what the answer is going to be. I don't even know. Amy May wants to know why Susan, your wife, is not watching your show. I mean, I know what the answer to that is.
Amy, nobody is as good to their husband as you are.
There you go.
That's right. That's my lady right there. That's my lady.
Wow. Who are you trying to impress, Amy? Or definitely not your wife.
When it comes to sports.
Yeah. This is true. This is very true.
Yeah, she's a very loyal sports fan.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, my wife at least provides us pizza and wings.
That's right.
Yeah. But she has no interest in what we're actually doing here.
Once in 5 years.
Yeah. Well,
my wife would
it's been like twice. Okay.
My wife would actually finance that operations if she got me out of the house more.
So. Yeah.
So I think everybody has their own talent when it comes to, how to be a good wife.
Right. Yes. And you ate all her Cadbury eggs.
Yeah. The mini eggs, the chocolate.
He's got to qualify if I saying they're the mini eggs.
Well, because the Cadbury eggs are those big ones with the I don't like those.
It may have been 15, but it was the mini eggs.
Can you come up with a script of the Bible, a scripture that applies to what's going on with the Penguins right now?
Well, yeah, you can. It's the Moses story if you really think about it.
The Moses story,
really?
Yeah,
I don't know the Moses story. Sure,
you do.
Really?
I think you know the Moses story maybe a little bit better than I.
I mean, Moses is like
he's your
compadre.
Moses
is your man.
But I don't know from his side of the story.
So I feel like
all right.
Let's do that. The bad Pharaoh was Hextall, right?
Okay,
this is good.
And then they needed to be delivered from the promised land.
Okay,
and then in comes Dubis, who is actually Moses, right?
Okay,
yeah.
But Aaron is Sully, right? So the two of them together take the rest of the team. And they take them to the promised land. Now, the promised land, they don't get to right away. It's 40 years, They get to go over the bridge
which is the rest of the season.
Hopefully
will seem like 40 years.
No, well, I'm thinking
he's starting to lose
this. No, this is going through the water. And will the water stay up, or will it be a new ending where the water actually crashes down on them and they're
so this is like Charlton Heston right now, where he's holding that water back, and you're wondering, right.
Are we talking about a Red Sea parting? Is that what's going on?
Dubis has got the staff up. The sea is being parted, and everybody's going through the water as quickly as they can.
Yeah,
they just have to get through the water.
We don't know.
Before it crashes down, and that's where we are in the story.
This has been some incredible sports journalism. Right?
Yeah,
this was
good. This is what the hockey Jesus.
This is
brings.
what the hockey Jesus can bring to you, because it's not just about hockey; it's about your life.
That's why he has disciples.
Okay,
and we don't.
Well, I'll tell you.
And you know what? Disciples can be from the Old Testament or the New Testament.
I'll tell you for one thing. I am a disciple of hockey Jesus. I have learned so much about hockey for real over the last two seasons now of hockey Jesus, committing himself, showing us what faith is all about. And after every game. Now, I'll admit this year, the last 2 weeks, I haven't listened to every single one. I haven't had a chance to, but I've tried to listen to every one of them.
Well, you have to go back and listen to my rant about Matt Rempe.
I did miss that, but
absolutely,
I heard that one.
That's a must.
If you have an interest in hockey at all, and you want some knowledge, Hockey Jesus has some knowledge.
I will bestow
that is for sure. Yeah, that is for sure. And you're going to want
I am your rabbi of hockey.
You're going to want to follow him.
Jewish people involved too.
What?
Even Jewish people can listen.
Well, Jesus was a rabbi.
Yeah.
Jesus was Jewish.
Okay, here we go. We drop the Sports Porch podcast right after the show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts.
Is that voice? I think I know where we're going now.
The bottom line on the Pet Czar.
Give me the bottom line.
They got to win 4 of the last 5. They win 4 of the last 5, including wins versus Detroit and at the Islanders. They will be in the playoffs. The good thing is there'll still be 2 games to play when we're back next Monday. So they only need to win 3 games, 2 of the next 3 till we meet again next Monday. And plus, we'll get to see what the other teams do. Look, you have to root either against Detroit or Capitals tomorrow. That depends. If the Pens win tonight, you want to root. If the Pens win tonight, you want to root for the Capitals. No, you want to root for Detroit, because then you can beat Detroit to overtake them. It's really complicated.
Yeah, it looks like the Penguins are up 1-0.
Woohoo!
Did we already say that?
Mike, thank you very much for that update.
All right, we're moving on now. Something to something near and dear to my heart.
I'm
embarrassed.
I am the pirate, and I will embarrass you. But of course, this is the Buccos Report, and should we be excited about the Pirates? I say maybe. How about you?
I'm embarrassed to be on screen with you.
I mean, come on. What do we do? We started 7-2, 8-2. I don't even know what the record is. 8-2. We're number one in the NL Central. And I think we're number one in the entire major leagues.
I think you're number one in the entire major leagues of baseball.
And
yes, we are.
And that's kind of right there why it's not a good sign.
Yeah.
Because there's always a regression to the mean.
Well, let me tell you guys, just so I don't blow out my voice, I'm going to keep my Pirates gear on. But I will tell you that in answering this question, is it time to be excited about the Pirates yet? The answer to that is absolutely not. And I know
that's not kind.
No, what I mean is it's exciting that they're off to an 8-2 start. It's exciting, of course, that they took 2 out of 3 from the Baltimore Orioles in the fashion that they did.
Which is a good team.
2 walk-off wins, and they are a good team. It's exciting. I think their pitching staff so far has been pretty good. Jared Jones has been a really, really nice surprise. I think Mitch Keller has a little bit of work to do, but the 2 guys they got in that rotation, Martin and the other guy, like I said at the beginning of the year, they're guys that know how to pitch. They can keep you in games. Their bullpen was struggling a little bit. I think Bednar still, he missed most of spring training. And it's early now. Cruz is off to a pretty good start as far as his batting average goes. He's got 2 home runs already, but he also has 15 strikeouts. All right, we got to do something about that.
It sounds to me like somebody who was burned from the hot start from last year.
Absolutely. And have been burned by the Buccos for the last how many years? How many years?
Well, since 1992. Really.
Right. Yeah, and I remember that night. So,
and if you want to go even further back, really 1979.
Yes.
Yeah.
That really
yeah.
That's a while.
We are family. We are family. So I'll put my Pirates back
I have some news regarding the Pirates.
Go for it.
I have already been to a Buccos game.
Yeah, and that's like a huge thing.
Can you believe that?
And it wasn't a free ticket thing.
I actually had to pay for 4 tickets.
4?
What?
Who
you
else
gave
went?
Bob Nutting all that money?
I did.
Who else went besides you in season?
Our friends from Michigan who are huge O's fans.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. So it was really about the O's.
No, it was more about going to the game with
He did send me a picture. He did send that picture of himself wearing an O's hat.
Yeah.
But you know what? Yeah. You know what I've learned?
What have you learned?
Never wear the opponent's gear when you're in your own stadium.
Yeah, what's your problem?
Man. It's not good.
I've never done that before.
I've done it. It's not good.
It's just bizarre.
It's the worst.
Fun.
You get labeled.
It's totally not fun.
One, you get labeled. 2, you're still rooting for your team because you can't help it. Right. So you're like, you have this confusion going on. And I could use a gender association metaphor here, but I refuse to.
I don't know why. Well, I'm lost on that one.
Well, I mean, I could say, now I understand if I felt like I was a woman trapped in the body of a man.
Yeah, but that's actually not. That's actually something from our days with listening to MMR in Philadelphia. It's got nothing to do with it.
I told you. I once.
What a great memory.
I once went to Heinz Field in Eagles gear.
Yeah.
And that'll be the last time I ever go to an away park wearing my gear.
Yeah. I made that mistake back in like 1990. I mean, when I wore Redskins paraphernalia to an Eagles game.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Imagine
that was really bad.
Yeah. And you didn't learn from that?
Well, we're not thinking about you.
Yeah, right. Yes. You're only thinking about yourselves. I get it.
Right. And you were thinking about yourselves when you left us at the stadium.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah. Okay. All right. Back to the Bucs.
Imagine this: wearing Steelers gear at the link.
Yeah, it probably would go just as badly.
That would be just.
It bizarre, would go worse. It would go worse.
Very weird.
So DG says,
"Don't do it."
DG says your Orioles gave up that improbable 9th inning error that helped a bit. Yeah, absolutely. And I guess that's the point. Look, it's a good thing to see this Pirates team play well against what everybody will argue is a very, very good Baltimore team. I also have the opinion of the Orioles, although it's a little higher than where the Pirates are right now, that last year that, they strung out 100 victories. They were the best team in the American League, best record. But they still have something to prove. You've got to put back-to-back years together where you're on the winning side of your record. Now the Pirates,
you don't want to be a one and done.
Right. And the pirate in me,
Chris, you got to talk about the Pirates.
That's right. The pirate in me is saying, look, last year's 20-8 start got us really excited. And I will submit to you that this year's team is a better team. It's a better team. And like somebody said in the media a few weeks ago, I was listening to an interview. Actually, it was Greg Brown, the Pirates announcer. They were interviewing him on The Fan.
Yeah.
And they said to him, "How do you like
him?" By the way,
I do like him. I think first of all, I think he's hilarious. But he said they asked him, "What do you see differently this year than last year?" And of course, this is before they got off to an 8-2 start. I think they had won their first 2 games or something. And he said, "This year we have a team of baseball players." Now, of course, my first thought was, "Isn't that what every major league team has?"
It is.
Yes,
most. Yes.
Yeah. But if you dig a little deeper, you guys know what I'm talking about. They're guys that understand the situational aspects of the game, and they realize that the goal when you're batting, when you're hitting, the goal is to get on base. You don't have to swing for the fences. When you're in the field, the goal is to get the lead runner or get the out. Even if you have to concede a run, you have to know where you are in the field. So we fast forward all the way to Saturday or Sunday, and Steve and I are down at the Leaf and Bean in the Strip.
That was Saturday.
Was that Saturday?
Yeah, a couple guys sharing cigars.
It happens.
You don't like cigars. That's why we don't invite you, because you don't like cigars.
Yeah, I would never go. Why would I go out and
then you send
like crap?
Then you send pictures like you're jealous, and you're like, "Are you guys having a fabulous time? Here's a picture."
I'm just making fun of you guys for going out and smoking cigars
together.
It's kind of kind of it's a metrosexual type activity.
Well, anyway,
metrosexual.
So I and in that game on Saturday, Jared Jones is pitching a no-hitter into the 6th inning, and there's a routine pop-up, and 3 Pirates watch it drop in between them. Okay,
that was the second baseman's fault.
That's not a group of baseball players. Now, granted, they are 8-2.
That was bad.
They won that game in extra innings. They're teaching themselves how to win. Their pitching kept them in it because they were relatively low. Well, last night's win was yesterday's win was a low scoring affair. So, I want to be excited about it. I want to be excited about it. I'm holding off on that excitement because, like we say when we talk on our Philly show, it's early in the year. Right. It's early in the year. And this team, now there's some different names on it, but this franchise has demonstrated the ability to outplay itself and then regress back to the mean.
I mean, isn't that what Isn't that what they say every year?
Yes.
Like, this year's different because it's a better lineup. That's the same thing they said last year.
Well, and let's get serious about the lineup here for a second. Okay. You got Brian Reynolds in right field. He's off to, he's batting .233.
He's solid.
I can tell you he doesn't look impressive live.
Well, the eye test, but let me just get through this because I'm not going to, but what I'm going to say is Reynolds is an above average player. Cruz, to me, has not proven anything yet. I mean, I know everybody thinks he's got the talent, but he hasn't proven anything yet, and he strikes out a ton.
Yeah. Well, but he's the one who has a chance to be a star.
Look, he's got the chance.
Field,
right?
He's the guy that sticks out.
Yes,
when he's at bat, when he's in the field,
how hard he throws the ball.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely.
He also sticks out because he's taller than everybody on the planet.
No, but he moves well. Like, right. He's in good position. Like, he looks engaged.
I do question. I know that he's great as a shortstop, but at 6, what's he, 6'7"? To me, that's tall.
I think he should be at third base.
Yeah, maybe
with his cannon arm.
Yes, I'm just.
But that's the best position for Ke'Bryan Hayes.
Yeah, but I can't argue.
He could be
I can't
a
argue
first
that.
baseman.
Ke'Bryan Hayes to
That's
me
probably where he
cut down on the injuries.
Ke'Bryan Hayes at third is starting off pretty well this year. He doesn't have a home run yet, but he's a very streaky hitter. He
is.
His defense is good. And a lot of people, they say, oh he did win a Gold Glove, so you can't take that away from him. Triolo,
if you wanted to.
Triolo at from my cold dead hand. Triolo at second. I love that guy last year. I think he's got a place in the lineup. Sawinski, they need to leave him in the lineup. His average looks terrible, but he has only struck out 7 times as opposed to Reynolds.
He's not a center fielder, by the way.
Who? Sawinski? No, they got him in left field. I'll take him there. Connor Joe. Right, I heard somebody on the fan try to compare him to Pete Rose the other day, and I couldn't. Honest to God. Hank Davis. He needs a little bit of work. And we forget they brought him up last year. He really hasn't had a full year in the major leagues yet. Then you've got Michael A. Taylor, who's hitting the cover off the ball right now. And then Rowdy Tellez, who's, no better, no worse than Santana was last year. I don't see this lineup being the kind of lineup that you can really, truly get excited about. Okay. They're talking like, you could potentially have 420 home run hitters. Or not.
Well, here's what I think the problem is with it's not that it's an average lineup,
right?
Okay?
That's what I'm saying.
Which isn't a bad thing to have. The problem is there's no depth. So if somebody gets injured, then you go from an average lineup to a well below average lineup.
Right.
Like what
or if you have to play Kutch in the field, right?
Right. That's the problem.
Now,
absolutely right.
The other side of this is you have Jared Jones. I was saying Jared Jones was pitching. It was Bailey Falter who had it.
By the way, they are winning 5-2 tonight.
Are they?
On their way to 9-2.
Okay, so there we go. Yeah, I haven't even checked the score yet.
Mm-hmm.
But the rotation with Jones, Gonzalez, Perez, Keller, and Falter. And again, I have to correct myself. Earlier, I was saying Jones had that no-hitter. It was Bailey Falter, who everybody thought was the worst pitcher in the staff, and he started the year. His first start was horrible, but here he is, going into the 5th, 6th inning.
Here's the thing. I know all about Bailey Falter because he pitched for the Phillies.
For the Phillies, right.
In the end, he's horrible.
Right.
No, I mean, look, the best he can do is essentially what he did for the Phillies. One year he came up and he pitched really well for half a season and had 2.7 ERA and, won a bunch of games. He might have been 7-2. And then the second half of the season, he just got destroyed.
Yeah.
And then the next year he came out and he just got destroyed to start the year. So then they traded him.
Right.
So, he does have it in him to have a few good starts and maybe even 2 good months, but he's not an answer. I mean, if the team is going to be a good team, he won't be on the team.
And they realize that. And he's kind of holding the spot right now.
Right.
They hope for Paul Skeens. But Skeens is only pitching 3 innings at a clip in AAA. And to me, that doesn't indicate that he's going to be up here anytime soon. And to be honest with you, I think if they continue, let's say they continue to win, they keep grinding out these wins in spite of their pitching staff, in spite of all of the weakness of not having any depth. I say you leave him down there. This is not the year that you're going to go to the World Series. It's just not going to happen.
Just bring him up.
No. Well, look, they're going to wait till at least they get the extra year eligibility.
Of course,
that's what they're going to do.
Right.
No, but the reason why you bring him up is because number one, it should help you win more games. And number two, you better start learning in the major leagues. Why not have next year your first full season in the majors instead of being your first start in the majors?
Yeah. I could see your point there.
Yeah, they'll need him anyways, and it'll just make the team better because then you won't have to rely on that middle pitching. Although the middle pitching's been not terrible.
No, the strength of the team is definitely their bullpen, and Mitch Keller is a big concern to me. I'm not sure what's going on with him, but his velocity being down a couple miles, he got the big contract, and I've always talked about this. these guys, they get these big contracts and then they kind of start to fade away. And
I'm not concerned about that with him.
You don't think so?
I think he'll be fine.
All right, we'll see.
Like here's the thing. The thing about Mitch Keller that people have to realize is on a good team, he's maybe a good 3 starter.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So, if you've got ace, expectations for him, he's going to probably fall short. Now, look, he's a guy who should probably, finish the year like, if he has a good year, he'll be like, 14-10, have like a 4.10 ERA and have over 200 strikeouts.
Right.
But that's not, a world beater. That means you're going to have a bunch of games where you pitch horribly and a bunch of games where you pitch really well.
That's what happened last year.
Right,
first half of the season, he looked like an ace. Second half, he looked like that guy you just talked about.
Right.
So the Pirates still don't have an ace. Is Jared Jones going to be that ace? I don't know. I mean, the way
Paul
he's pitched,
Skeens is going to be that ace.
I understand that, but right now he's not on the major league roster. So I think the future could be bright for the Pirates between Skeens and
I think
Jones.
the Jones guy, you have to pump the brakes on
You think
a little
so?
bit.
I don't know.
It's 2 starts.
That's true. That is true. But 17 strikeouts in 11 and 2/3 innings pitched, 43 whiffs in his first 2 games.
Yeah, he's got good control.
He's got great stuff. He's got great stuff.
Positive. It's positive. But what's going to happen is now everybody's going to look at his stats and they're going to start watching tape. Yeah. And some good hitters are going to lay off the stuff that everybody else is swinging at now.
Yep.
And then, he's going to throw a fastball that's, not in the right spot and bam.
Kablammy.
And then he's got it. And then he's going to have to adjust
Batman
to the changes the batters are making.
Yeah.
It's a lot,
Yeah. He needs another pitch. And I think all those things can definitely.
He does need another pitch.
Yeah.
You're right. He does.
And I think those things will happen over time. You just got to give him
potential.
But he's not going to be a superstar this year. But he's not meant to be.
Right. It's a pump the brakes.
And that's where I am right now with the Pirates. I mean, at 8-2, they're currently winning tonight. I definitely think that you do need to pump the brakes. I'm going to pull up the Pirates box score right here as we move on into our next segment. They are currently leading the Tigers, and the Tigers are off to a pretty good start too. It's 6-3. They're leading the Tigers 5-2 right now. We're in the bottom of the 5th. Looks like Cruz is 0 for 2, Reynolds 0 for 3. Swinski is 1 for 2, and Kutch is 2 for 3, but I'm looking at up and down.
Play Sunday.
I know. I'm looking up and down this lineup, and I still don't like Cruz batting first. I get it.
I agree with
but he's your number 3 hitter. All right. Yeah. I mean, that's just he is a 3,
classic 4, or 5. Right. He can fit in any of those slots.
He could, but I really think he's meant to bat number 3. I like Sawinski in the 4 spot, but right now, and he does have a hit tonight and 2 runs, but right now I'd rather see him batting 5th. But they don't have a real number 4 hitter.
I actually like to see O'Neill hitting in the 2 spot.
Shit.
Cruz. Because you get
saw that coming.
You get what, 1-1?
Yeah.
Okay.
Depends. We're on extended shift. They iced the puck and they gave up the goal.
All right, HJ.
This is the Pirates report. Yeah. HJ, keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself.
I'll tell you why I like O'Neill Cruz in the 2 spot, because number 1, you have a chance at one more at bat. Then the further you go down the lineup. And number 2, if the leadoff hitter gets on, then that opens up a big hole between first and second.
Right. That's true.
That he can pull for a base hit.
He can get for a base hit. That's exactly right. So that's why he should not be batting first. Should we be excited about the Pirates yet? No. I mean, it's nice to see them get off to a good start.
Mildly.
Yeah.
Mildly.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see.
Like when they say at the tie place, 10's the spiciest, 0 is no spice at all. I think we're at a 4 right now.
And
I'd
speaking of spicy,
6.
Yeah.
But
all right, that was the Buccos report for the evening. Thanks for listening.
Okay, we're going to move on now to something that we're going to talk about probably pretty quickly. But first, I want to thank everybody if you're watching us live right now on social media, on Facebook, LinkedIn, X, Fantasy Alpha Crowd. Thank you for being here. They come out in numbers.
They do. Thanks,
I love it. 11 of them watching.
Thanks,
Alphas. Instagram, of course. Thanks for being here if you're watching on Instagram. And I'm going to drop this podcast on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts right after the show.
Wonder if they do a fantasy hockey.
Yeah, they do fantasy hockey. Yeah.
I've never joined a fantasy hockey.
There's a lot of thinking. There's a lot of thinking out loud going on here. Okay, since we have to talk about football because we miss football. Any thoughts on the Steelers draft at this point? I've heard that they are definitely not taking a center in the first round. I don't know if that's true.
And who are your sources?
It's a right tackle. I will not reveal my sources.
It's just
I heard it's a right tackle. I heard they're taking a tackle.
So there's nothing wrong with taking a tackle.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just trying to get your thoughts.
I heard they like the linebacker from Northwestern. So it's just this is the time of year where you hear shit and then you just decide what you like and what you don't.
Right.
Like.
Because, half of the stuff is so that the other teams in the NFL think you're going to pick somebody else.
I know. It's such a smokescreen now.
It is. Yeah. It really is. Yeah, so there's no way to really know. But I don't really care. I think I love the idea of going, with the big fat guy. Just because in the first couple of rounds you usually can't go wrong, and if they're bad, you can still play them. They just won't. They just won't stick around for more than 2 or 3 years.
Although here's the one thing though that, and maybe you guys will disagree with me, but I feel like you've got a better chance at finding like an average interior defensive lineman or an average guard. I feel like you have a better chance of finding that guy in the third round than you do at finding like a good corner in the third round.
Yeah, I agree with
you. Know what I mean?
No, I agree.
So that's the thing. I mean, it now, of course, in the first round, those big pass rushers and, maybe a dominant run stuffer might be available. But I also think that, don't miss out on the corner that's there, or if the Steelers, I doubt they'd go this route, but if they don't figure out something for another receiver, it wouldn't shock me if they went receiver in the first round either.
Wide receivers are deep, so they could go second, third round for receiver too.
They could
this year.
Yeah, so. But I do think I would anticipate offensive line, because I think that's Andy Weidl's approach, and I think he and Omar Khan are pretty in lockstep. So I think that's what I expect.
Yeah, I expect it too.
I agree. I think that's where they're going to go, and there's no reason to really think other.
Right.
Well, and but see, for me, they need a center. So where are they going to get a center? Other than the draft.
They already said they're comfortable with Harding in that position.
Yeah, with Herbig, you mean?
Herbig.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Well, but here's the thing. I mean, you can also center's an interesting position because there's probably more good centers drafted not in the first round.
True.
Than maybe even any other position.
Yeah.
So, I often see like a guy will be like a 10-year, quality center drafted in the second round. Or drafted in the third round.
Right.
So that might just be a place where they, they kind of take a shot there.
Yeah.
But, they go for, the other anchor on the other side of Broderick Jones in this draft.
Okay.
In the first round.
Yeah, I think that's a general direction the Steelers will go in.
2 weeks.
We'll dial it in as we get closer.
Yep. The only thing,
it's 3 weeks.
The only other thing left.
3 weeks.
The only other thing left with the Steelers is Antonio Brown complaining about his number being used.
That is so great
because they would really retire his number.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I guess he said he's going to have to retire 84, the Raiders 84 jersey.
Yeah,
he never wore.
Right,
I love it.
Right, because you would retire a number of a guy who, number one, you don't know they could be in jail during your enshrinement ceremony, and number two. You might not even show up because you're mentally not there.
Right.
Yeah.
And number three, quit on the field of playing for another team.
Right. So yeah, he's crazy.
I mean, he's great for a headline, but I do.
By the way, did I tell you guys? I saw his home on MTV Cribs. Have you ever seen that?
Well, yeah, it's for sale right now.
It's actually for sale.
It's for sale in the North Hills. In the North Hills.
No, it's not here. It's in LA.
Oh, you mean the home in LA?
The home in LA.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Oh my God, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'll tell you, I've seen a lot of homes on Cribs. His is so over the top. You have no idea.
Why am I not surprised?
No idea.
Really?
And we wonder why he's broke.
And you know, was the funny part of it too, is that apparently the home was previously owned by some Jewish folks.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And they had a synagogue in the home.
Okay, well, that's kind of over the top too.
And
What did he turn it into?
He kept it. He likes it.
He kept the synagogue.
He kept it. He likes it.
That's much better than I thought it was going to be.
Like, I go in here and I pray, man. I just pray.
I love it. I love it.
You know, God has blessed this place, and I'm not doing it.
You know what that's code for?
What?
I ran out of money. I couldn't
right. My child support.
Maybe.
All right. One more comment from DG here on the Steelers. He says, Fryer Moose says he wants a long-term contract. The Steelers added Pruitt, Atlanta's tight end, with a 1-year contract. I think the Steelers are going to look very different over the next year or two. I think they already look pretty damn different, DG.
Yeah, I think they do.
You know, and all comments aside here, they cleaned house as far as I'm concerned.
They did
in most places. So
good.
Looking forward to the draft in a few weeks. Looking forward to next year. But right now we're going to be, pushing the Penguins into the playoffs and hopefully getting it a little bit more excited.
Yeah, we'll get a full picture of the Steelers after their draft, and then as camp starts coming along, then we'll dial it back in.
Okay, we got 2 more segments to go here. So coming up is our product of the week and what we're watching. But first, I want to thank you guys if you're watching us live on social media every Monday night at 7:30 on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. The Sports Porch Pittsburgh, the Sports Porch Black and Gold.
Still
and I will be dropping the podcast right after the show on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or anywhere you get your friggin' podcasts. What do you guys want to do next? You want to do what we're watching, or you want to do product of the week?
I want to eat.
You want to eat? All right.
Sure. Product of the week.
Okay. All right. Listen, guys, I want you all to tune in here. This is something we do every week now. It's called the Trader Joe's product of the week.
Pizza. First
thing I got to tell you, though, is that Trader Joe's is not sponsoring this. It has nothing to do with Trader Joe's, although they're welcome to sponsor us if they want. But I work at Trader Joe's. I eat a lot of their food. I love it. They have some great stuff there. And so we've decided that every week I'm going to pick a product. I'm going to bring it home. We're going to taste test it. We're going to have a little fun. So this is the and I'm not putting the banners up right because I'm trying to do 3.
When's Trader Joe's going to start paying us for this?
3 Well, why don't you call Trader Joe's?
Get some free product out.
This is the Trader Joe's product of the week. Yes, absolutely. And I'm going to pull it out here. I'm going to let you guys read that while I pull it out.
I think they have some deep pockets.
Go ahead, guys. You read it. Read it off. What is this, Schwaber? It's in the ticker downstairs. Down there.
Is it?
Go ahead. Trader Joe's product of the week.
I'm just waiting for it.
Okay.
Zao sauce, a very spicy green herbal sauce with yamini root.
This sounds horrible.
Is this similar to like a tabbouleh?
No.
Is this Indian? I do like Indian food.
I'm going to. I've got a picture of it up there.
I'm terrified of this,
and I knew you would be. Zug, it's pronounced Zug sauce, likely originated in Yemen. This is right from TraderJoe's.com, and is now popular throughout the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cilantro-based sauce.
I hate cilantro
condiment that's been likened to Middle Eastern pesto. But we think that description shortchanges the originality of the spicy, fragrant, fabulously flavorful culinary creation. Let me try to say.
I think it's going to be very similar to tabbouleh.
Does somebody have a bag? I might have to hurl over this one.
Okay, so I'm going to say this again. We think that description shortchanges the originality of the spicy, fragrant, fabulously flavorful culinary creation. Who decided to
Can you stop it and let us eat it?
It's a sauce it's a sauce that's taking the internet by storm. From food blogs to social media feeds, Zug is having its moment in the digital side.
Oh my God.
This really is the ideal time to introduce Zug.
Oh, it smells good.
All right, what would you guys rather have it with? I
wanted it on one of those crackers we had last week.
Pita chips.
Yeah.
Oh, you want it on last week's product of the week?
Yeah.
Was the trail mix
was a really good
Really?
one.
You want to try that one?
I'm not going to have it on that. I feel like the taste.
Here you go.
the taste will kind of cancel each other out.
That's what I need.
That's what you're looking for.
I'm very much afraid.
I was actually encouraged by some of my friends at Trader Joe's to try it with the tortilla chips with chili and lime. You want to do that?
Well,
I don't think so. Give me the pita chip. This belongs on pita.
All right. Here we go. DG says the Trader Joe's jingle from last week's show was the best. Mark, tell Chris how to say cilantro.
Cilantro. It's Pittsburghese.
I say that because my
Pittsburgh guys.
Because my late great mother-in-law, God rest her soul, she hated cilantro.
I want that.
Oh, you want the pita chips?
The pita chips. We get these pita chips.
Okay, I know. That's okay. There you go. Pita chips. Have you tried it yet, buddy? Or are you waiting for us? We're going to do it together?
I'm waiting.
All right. I am not going to. Jody on Instagram says, go Steelers, keep making our team better so we can raise our 7th Lombardi trophy. I'm kind of afraid of this because I was told this may have a little heat to it.
Attacky.
All righty.
Okay, here we go.
I'd say it's good.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
But it's too spicy for me.
Too spicy?
Yeah.
I like it.
Can I get one of the Steve chips?
Yeah. You need something to cut
it. Is it good with the Steve chips?
I need a chaser.
You need a chaser?
Yeah.
Way too spicy. Way too cilantro-y. My wife would love this.
There you go. See? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I hate it.
That's too big a bite, Chris.
I absolutely hate it, but my wife would love this.
You think that's too big a bite?
Gonna get you with the spice.
Ooh, yeah, I just did a little bit on the end, and it was too much. Like, it's not only burned my tongue, it's burning my insides. I can feel it in my belly.
I gotta tell you, I really
That's good.
Ooh, that's hot. Yeah, I really like it though.
No, but if you want to get pretty much the same thing,
right,
but completely mild, that's tabbouleh. I love tabbouleh.
You think so? I'm going to try it with a pita chip. Let's try it with a pita chip. Let's see here. I want everybody to see it. The Zug sauce. The Zug sauce. There it is. I have to thank Sav and or not Sav. Well, Brenton at Trader Joe's, and I can't remember the other guy.
Yeah, you should get to know the people you work with.
Okay.
I will over time, I promise.
You'll remember their names one day.
That's actually really good.
I'm giving it 2 thumbs down.
I give it a thumbs down for people who don't like spicy, but for people who like spicy, I give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, and we want to make sure Steve gives it a 2 thumbs down because he hates cilantro.
And I hate spicy. Spicy.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, I like it. I like spicy.
I tell you what, Susan, she'd love that.
Can I have another one of the peanut butter cookies? Whatever those are. Trail mix.
No, this is trail mix with
I'm out of my water. So I just have that heat.
All right. Well, that was fun.
Wow, that was that was definitely different than the last.
Holy hell, that really is hot, though.
I think we do. I think we do need to bring the music back for the next.
It was hot.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to open up my Trader Joe's sparkling water. Oh my God, that is hot. Oh my God.
I told you it was too big a bite.
I know. It waited a little while but see, I like the heat.
I can tell you, like, the heat's gone for me now. So like it doesn't actually last that long.
Yeah, I got it.
It might be a little intense for a short period of time, but it doesn't linger.
I give it 2 thumbs up. Absolutely. And the thing is, as I said earlier, Trader Joe's is not sponsoring this. I asked for permission to do this.
Sure.
So we can give our real opinions, and
why? Thank you,
and I'm glad
thank you for letting me give my own opinion.
Thank you for telling me what I can and can't do.
Well, if I don't like it, I'll tell you. But I really like this. You were right about that bite. That bite was way too big, but I do like it. I'm going to eat it. And DG is saying Zug looks like it will be having a real moment later on in the path.
I didn't need enough of it for that to happen, but I bet if you ate enough of it, it could.
Oh yeah,
I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make it through the rest of this segment. To be honest with you guys.
No, you're not.
You're going to have to because we got to tell the people what we're watching.
That's right. Our next segment here, and thanks for listening and watching. Of course, the next segment here is something we love doing and we've done for years. It's called What We're Watching, and why do we do it? Well, pardon me. Is there smoke coming out of my mouth?
I told you.
Am I sweating? Am I sweating?
It'll go away. Yeah.
You did not follow the directions of the Grand Schwabini.
All you have to do is pass the calm on the one of us. So get there.
Yeah. Well, Jeff is laughing at me.
Have another sip.
Take a drink. What we're watching. What we're watching is what we're watching on TV. No. There's millions of shows all around the internet. Of course, we all stream everything we can. And, you know, I've just been encouraged to re-up my Hulu subscription to watch The Bear. I don't know if
did I tell you that I just did that?
Yeah.
I re-upped my Hulu to get it without the commercials.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, it's way better without the commercials.
Okay.
but it is so it's ridiculously more expensive though.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's like with commercials it's $7.99 and I think it's like $19.99 with commercials.
To me that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's
ridiculous. I mean they offer a lot of things though.
They do offer a lot, yeah. And I watched the first season of The Bear and I thought it was excellent.
Thought it was good. Okay, so what we're watching is what we've been streaming online and what we like and what we don't like about it. And I think
what we watch at the movies.
Or what we go to the movies.
Ooh.
But I think what we did is we used to, even if we were in the middle of a show, we would talk about it. But now we put some boundaries on it. You have to have finished the series.
Well, that was what I said I would do.
Oh, okay.
But it doesn't have to be that way. I just think it's kind of silly to say like, hey, I watched the first 3 episodes of this show and it's really great. And then like what happens is like you watch 2 more episodes and then like you completely ditch it because you think it's terrible.
Yeah.
Right.
I get it.
You know what I mean?
I agree with you. I think that's right.
So I think you got to be fair to the fans.
Or if you're ditching it in the middle and be like, I'm not watching anymore, I'm going to give you the review.
Yeah.
And that being said, we're going to start with the Grand Schwabini, who just went to see
Immaculate by starring Sidney Sweeney.
Who is Sidney Sweeney?
Oh, you know her.
Oh my God, Chris! The fact that you just said you don't know Sidney Sweeney really just—it's despicable. It's despicable.
Who is Sidney Sweeney?
She's probably like the A-list hot girl.
Yeah.
In movies now,
guys. I'm married to the A-list hot girl.
Oh God!
There it is. There it is. Thank you, Pittsburgh property diva. You walked right into that, Schwab. I didn't even see that setup.
Well,
anyway,
I can tell you. You do know who she was. She was in the first White Lotus.
White Lotus.
She was the blonde teenager.
Yep. I know who she is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I got
you got it now.
Exactly who she is.
Okay, you got it now. Good for you.
I got it.
So
she was the blonde that was the daughter of the guy who you said was me.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so first of all, this is a horror movie.
I love horror movies.
And if you love horror movies, this is a good one. Now, I'm a big horror movie guy as far as, it's not
suspense.
It's not like, I'm not so much into like the Freddy Krueger and Jason and stuff. I like the really intellectual type, horror type movies.
Right.
Like things like The Ring, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's a story of a woman, Sidney Sweeney. She decides that she wants to go into the convent. And she goes, there's an opening at a convent in England. And she goes to the convent in England and they're doing some really shady stuff.
No kidding. Really?
The convent.
At a convent?
But listen, beyond your wildest dreams.
Really?
Okay.
I don't know. My wildest dreams.
But it's not like she shows up and it starts happening. It's like they show things that are like, what's going
happens. On? Yeah. And here's the thing too. What's interesting about it.
Did you see it?
No, but I know horror flicks.
It's actually
good. And that's what happens.
In the beginning, you actually think it's maybe a supernatural component.
Right.
Of course, because it's
but it's not really.
Oh, no.
And let me just say, look, we all know the thing about the priests and little kids. It's not that.
Okay.
Yeah. It's definitely something that's very unexpected And the reason why I went to see it, I saw a bunch of reviews that said like the last 10 minutes of this movie were the best 10 minutes I've ever seen in a movie.
Right.
Ooh.
And I'll tell you what, it was pretty damn good.
Wow.
And in the last scene, Sidney Sweeney screams, maybe for like 2 minutes straight. And I have to tell you, it is the best scream I've ever seen in a movie.
Better than the Al Pacino silent scream at the end of The Godfather Part 3.
You're just talking like a fool. It was honest to God.
Jamie Lee Curtis scream
like,
from Halloween.
Honest to God, like no, look, I know when
that's a classic.
I know when some people see Sidney Sweeney, some people will say, "Oh, she's just the it girl.
Right.
Can she really act?" I'm telling you,
she can act.
This scream was the best damn acting on a screen I've ever seen.
Wow.
All right.
That's high praise.
It was good.
This is a guy that goes to see movies all by himself.
Yeah.
So he's a movie guy.
I've done it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like he's a movie guy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, The Grand Schwabini, Immaculate, in theaters right now, starring
horror films.
little known Sidney Sweeney. All right, let's move on to Hockey Jesus. Hockey
Little
Jesus.
Known by
Little known by your small brain.
This one is this
one's a little.
Look, my
less
mouth is
intense.
still on fire here. This one causes me to pause when I see it, and then I realize who's watching it, and you'll understand.
You'll understand.
What in the hell is this?
Physical 100.
What?
Underground.
Is this you or Chris?
No, this is me.
This is you.
Yeah, this is Hockey Jesus. Fight your way up again.
So this is the second version of what they call physical. I believe it's South Korean.
Okay.
And
interesting.
It's basically like their version of Squid Games.
Oh, okay.
Only what they're out to do is they pick all these some famous people, mostly like Olympians.
Is it real life?
Yeah, real life.
Real. It's reality.
It's real people.
Okay.
And like they basically pick all walks of life. Mostly men, but there are probably about 10 or 20 women that have just like great bodies.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to find the best physical specimen through these games and these things.
Now we know why he's watching.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. No, it's all right. Go ahead.
Okay. All right.
We accept you.
He's the reality guy.
Yeah.
I'm the reality guy because next week it's going to be Survivor. I'm just going to, sit down.
Seriously? We're going to bring that back?
No, I can't do Survivor because it's not over.
Yeah.
Right.
And you've already done it like 58 times.
So no, what's really interesting about this is they have like sumo wrestlers, and then they have like firefighters.
Mm-hmm.
They have, athletes that, that were in the Olympics and things like that. And they do things like running, and then they have like wrestling things, and then they have like puzzles where you have to figure it out, but you have to like put it together with like these huge blocks.
Right,
so you have to like pick these things up.
Mm-hmm.
So of course the women are going to be out, unfortunately, because most of it is just too heavy for the women to really do well in, because it's usually, sometimes it's a group event, but at the end it's always a one-on-one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love it just because you see what they do and you think about, like, basically one of them is like, you guys probably wouldn't know this. It was a big round, like 40 kilogram, just tractor that they had to pull back and forth. And you can see these grown men just straining to do it twice. They had to do it 3 times and then run back at the end. And it's just amazing what they have to go through to win this thing.
You like testing the body to its limits.
I'm telling you, it's incredible to watch people like perform at that high level. To me, it's like a sporting event, really.
Yeah.
Well, it is kind of a sporting event, but I find it hard in my mind to associate the phrase, perfect physical specimen with sumo wrestler.
Right. Well, they don't
it's a different
normally
take on
win, but I can tell you in the wrestling aspects of things,
I
they
bet
do well.
They can.
Yeah. In the rock removal thing, they do well.
In the rock removal thing.
Great.
In the noodle eating contest, they do well.
Sidney Crosby just got hurt. That's
Physical 100, the second edition, I guess, on Netflix, right?
Yep.
Yes, on Netflix.
Okay.
What documentary you got coming for us?
Oh, you know me so well.
It
this is called
here.
Turning Point, The Bomb and the Cold War. and it's on Netflix.
Okay.
And it should be pretty obvious about what it's about.
Mm-hmm. So let me take a gander.
Yeah,
here.
I mean, just guess. Just wild, out of the blue.
Is this like a bomb goes off, ends a war, and then kind of the two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, are kind of in this Cold War with a lot of spying and stuff like that, and the tensions are at their peak quite often. Do I got it?
Sounds good.
I got it?
I think you nailed it.
Did I? He likes to watch what we already know.
Yeah.
Real life is hard to do.
Yeah.
There's more to it than that, but of course you'll have to watch it for yourself.
Let's go, Peds!
I want to thank everybody for watching the SportsPort Black and Gold edition in Pittsburgh on Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram, all over the world. And I'm going to drop this crazy podcast right after the show on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify,
or anywhere you get your friggin' podcast, matey.
Let's go, Bucks!
Let's go, Peds!
All right, guys, I am your technical director, and I am out. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Jablonsk.